why do we exist? Or maybe the better question is, how do we exist? This is what Charles Darwin asked himself when he observed several types of birds on the Galapagos Islands in 1831. Although similar, birds on different islands had differently shaped beaks. At first, Darwin believed them to be different species, but later found that they were just different finches. He developed ideas surrounding evolution and a natural force that acts on every living organism. Fast forward a couple hundred years, many of Darwin's key concepts still remain intact. Wait, what were Darwin's key concepts anyway? I'm so glad you asked. When Darwin found out that all these birds were finches, he reasoned that they all had to share a common ancestor. But how did they end up looking different? He decided there must have been an evolutionary force acting on these birds. Today we call this force natural selection, and it is one reason species evolve. Hey, it's a big deal! Let me illustrate with a population of squirrels. About half the squirrels have brown fur while the rest have gray fur. They live in a rocky habitat, so the gray squirrels blend in more easily. Now foxes live in this area, and their favorite meal is squirrel. The fox can easily see the brown squirrels, but they cannot easily see the gray squirrels. Because of this, the brown squirrels are more likely to be eaten. Over time, the population will become mostly gray squirrels because they have the higher fitness. And no, this is not because they work out more often. Fitness describes an individual's ability to survive and reproduce in their environment. Okay, but what does this have to do with natural selection? The gray squirrel has a trait that favors them for survival. Natural selection favors these types of traits, therefore natural selection is the reason the populations will become mostly gray squirrels. Then what does natural selection have to do with evolution? Natural selection can cause evolution to occur because it favors the best traits for an organism to survive. As a result, populations will become better suited to their environments. Ooh, if I need to, I grow wings? Absolutely not. But I'm so glad you asked. You see, natural selection can only act on existing phenotypes. It cannot make new traits. If an organism needs a better trait, it can't just grow it. Similarly, if a trait is annoying, it can't just get rid of it. Okay, but we're evolved from monkeys which have a tail, so why don't I have a tail? This is where genetic variation comes in. You see, organisms are unique. This is because of mutations, recombination of homologous chromosomes, or random mating. Now, keeping in mind that each individual has distinct traits, let's recall our squirrels. Suppose the population starts out mostly short-tailed. A mutation causes some of the squirrels to be born with longer tails, but for now, tail length does not affect them. One day, an avalanche pushes the squirrels into the forest below. Among trees, the squirrels with shorter tails find that they cannot balance on branches. Many fall to the ground where predators can easily catch them. However, those with a mutation for longer tails can safely climb among the trees away from the predators. You still haven't answered my question. Why don't I have a tail? I'm getting there. We don't have a tail because we evolved from apes who are diverged from monkeys. Unlike monkeys, apes developed a way to climb trees that did not require a tail. Therefore, the tail became a vestigial structure, which is a body part that no longer serves its original or any purpose. At some point, the tail hindered the ape's fitness. A mutation likely caused the variation for short or no tails and was favored by natural selection. So, humans don't have a tail, but you'll notice we do have a tailbone, which is a remnant of this vestigial structure. So the next time you wonder why we exist, at least you'll know how we exist.